first step of this journey is to find breakfast and a moto taxi. Check. Hold on. Let me give you some context here. This is a video I was juiced to create while in Colombia, because just off of the coast of Colombia sits the most densely populated island in the entire world. It's 4 times as densely populated as Manhattan in New York. And yes, Manhattan is an island, but no, this island isn't nearly as big as Manhattan. But I couldn't help but think, how did this happen amongst private islands and resorts and all sorts of resources? What trapped these people on this island? Or are they here for family and cultural reasons? Why don't they just take the 30-minute bus ride to one of the coastal towns and live there? Okay, I lied. There are a couple other things I gotta do first. I gotta catch a boat, sneak my way around this bigger island because I'm with a local boat guy, not a company. We wait, pick up some new friends. And finally, one more stop. The most densely populated island in the entire world, Santa Cruz del Islote. This is game time. This is arguably the most important moment of the entire experience and potentially of the video itself. You have to convince people that you've never met solely with your energy and charisma, that you're there with good intentions and want to tell a real story, but in a positive light. No one wants some outsider coming in to tell some surface level shitty story about them and their communities. Now, on top of that, add a language barrier. And sometimes it can get a bit tricky. Okay, so I just landed here and I don't know anybody. I don't have a guide, I don't have a place to stay. So I'm gonna figure all that out. When you show up to a super remote place with no guide and no connection, you have to be good. That's the game. You have to psychologically connect with somebody fast, and you have to bring positive energy, but without being fake. People can sense when you're bullshitting. On this trip, I wasn't able to connect. I don't know if I was off my game or if it was the specific people that I interacted with when I first got there, but I didn't make it happen. I think it's 100% reasonable when touristy areas that are struggling financially want to charge tourists who come to take video. But when I got there, I wasn't exactly met in the most welcoming fashion. I didn't have much money because the bus, the bike, the boat, everything was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And I was trying to explain that and tell them that I wanted to just tell the real story of the place and get, good insight and try to bring people out there. Because literally the first thing the older guy asked me when I got there was, what do you have to offer me now to take video? And I was like, I don't have anything, I'm out of money, but I want to tell the story of this place and, get more tourists here and give real insight to this place and the local life. And he just wasn't having it. I heard him in Spanish saying a few times, oh, he wants to film and take video for free. And it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a story that I really wanted to tell in the moment. So I decided not to. Resistance is one thing. I can handle the initial resistance. Typically, I actually expect it. And we can have some type of grown conversation about it. You want money in order for me to film because that's how you make money from the tourism sector in your community? Got it. Let's talk about it and figure out something that works for both of us. Unfortunately, in this case, we had a conversation about it, felt like we had come to some type of agreement, and then I heard the guy talking shit about me in Spanish. So I decided while I was on the island that this wasn't a story that I wanted to tell anymore. Even just saying it back, it seems like such a small thing, but I went 6 hours out of my way to travel to this place by ridiculous transit to tell this story. This was a big deal to me. And as the viewer, you typically just see the outcome of the video. And if you're like me, before I started creating videos, the filming is kind of all I think about. You go to this cool place, you film it, and then you just put together some video. But there's so much behind that creation and the editing process behind a project that takes days and intense work to fully realize this video that you're watching. It's rare that a story like this takes me less than 10 hours to edit. And sometimes the light changes just like it is right now from outside. Am I even in focus? Sony A7C, I will bring your ass back. Bless, I hope so. And now the dog's going crazy. Anyways, on top of that, I'm also attaching my name and my brand to every video that I publish on this platform. So between me attaching my name to it and the time that I spend editing a story, the quality of the story, the profoundness, the deepness, the lesson, all those things really matter to me as an artist, as a creative on this platform. And if something is off, I don't want to publish it to you, the viewer, to watch and then potentially even go to this island as a tourist and be like, yo, Ryan, like you totally led me astray. Why would you do that? So if this was my experience, why would I want to film it, put together this full project for you to see and potentially go to? So while I was on the island, not long after hearing the old guy with the fanny pack talking shit about me, I decided to pack up my camera and call it a day. I did take the full tour after I put my camera away and met some super dope young cats on the island who were trying to create change and doing this systematic work, and it was amazing. And honestly, if I would have met them first when I got to the island, this whole story would probably be different. I probably wouldn't be making the video that you're watching right now, but I had already made up my mind. Now, I don't want you to walk away from this video hating the island of Santa Cruz del Islote for treating me like a heathen. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is just to show you some of the insight to my life and show you how these videos happen, how they get put together, what some of the process is behind them, and show you some of the failures, because it's not all gorgeous. It's not all cool travel places. Matter of fact, most of it isn't that. That's just the final product. I like to think that the realness and the storytelling aspect of my videos is something that sets me apart on this YouTube platform. But to achieve both of those things, I have to redefine travel limits. And when you're pushing limits, there's always room for unknown failures. Well, that's the first video for 2022. I didn't game plan for it to be a failure, but it happens. It's fitting. Sometimes things don't go as you plan, and sometimes they don't go as you plan right at the beginning. But there's good news. Next week's video is definitely not a failure. So many cookies handed out, sweat, sand dunes, but we're here, the most northern point in all of South America, Punta Gallinas. The southern tip of South America gets all the love because it's the end of the world before you get to Antarctica. But what about the northern tip of South America? What's up there? What does life look like? Well, I can tell you that I was blown away by the people up there and the extreme conditions that they deal with on a daily basis. Tune in next Sunday to see another ridiculous adventure while I try to live the limit in Colombia. Oh, that felt so good. Live the limit. I love that. I'll see you next week. Peace.